you guys are from Oakland, I hear, yeah? Yes? No?
We're all from different places, but we all reside in Oakland right now.
So I hear
this
this
one.
seems pretty good out there, so how did it all get cultivated in the beginnings?
Well, these guys, they had the band.
Yeah, we started Chiyo and I started the band with our friend Tom. Tom Choi used to be in Asbestos Death and a bunch of other bands. And a guy named Louis Davila who was in bands in the Bay Area. And that first lineup, we recorded a demo, and then Tom and Louis both left. And Russ was at our last show, and he said, if you guys want to keep the band going, I'll play guitar. And that's how we kept going.
Yep.
And we probably should have changed the name at that point, but
I must ask, where did the name come from?
it came from a children's book, a Dr. Seuss book called Walk It in My Pocket.
Oh, yeah? So is it like
I
a
did not vote
throwaway
for
line?
that name. I was outvoted when we selected that name.
So what was your shout then for the name?
Oh, it sucks, so now I'm not.
So over the years, you guys have been noted to being very influential. A lot of the sludge bands pretty much point you out as being one of the best. So where did your influences come from?
Who said that?
Fucking liars.
They need their hearing checked.
Yeah. A bunch of deaf people. They're all, oh, Noothgrush is good.
Well, I mean, I when I was a small kid, I was really into Black Sabbath, so I was always kind of, and I like things like Robin Trower, and you know, I was always kind of into stuff that had a slower kind of vibe. And as a guitarist, obviously, you know, influenced by Iommi, so. But you know, the one thing we all had in common was we were buying 7 inches from labels like Bovine, and you know, listening to going to see I Hate God and bands like that. When you know,
The Southern
a
Sludge.
couple years before I started, you know, playing in this band. But we all met at a radio station we used to work at, a college university radio, and yeah.
There's all that influence is coming in on you. Because another thing that I've seen is you've done a hell of a lot of splits. And that's something that I like to see, getting like a lot of other bands in, seeing how they do it, seeing the vibe, and like having that feeling. Is there any bands that you would point out as being like a special relationship that you've got, you like playing with, or you've got collaborative?
I mean, a lot of them are that way. And splits are like one of the first Grief records I bought, and obviously Grief is another big influence, was the Dystopia split. I'd never heard of Dystopia before, and I probably wouldn't have if I didn't bought that. That record had been Grief on both sides, but instead I learned about a new band that way.
Yeah, it helps you turn other people on. Not to mention, we're all poor. So the expense of going through all this and sharing with other people and creating these bonds where if they ever come out, we'll do shows with each other. The scene is, I hate the fucking word, basically we just share music.
Yeah.
Period. You play a show, you share music with the audience. You do a split, you share music with other people. So I think it's the best way to do things. Then again, at a certain point, you kind of want to do a full-length album of yourself or whatever, but I always found that splits were fun just because you help out other bands that you like and you want other people to hear.
Because am I right that you started off like all self-produced, you were doing it all by yourself?
Yeah, totally,
right? And it took a while before you got someone, and it's, was it Fuck Yoga that you're on now? Or
Yeah, the thing
Well,
is,
I mean, even that is still...
we're all doing this by ourselves.
Yeah, so it's all
Fuck
by
Yoga was just a fan of Noothgrush as well and just wanted to put out a record.
Okay.
And then started asking, hey, can I put out all your other stuff? And it's like, well, they're not going to put it out. We don't have the money for that.
So you're all contributing towards the same
So
thing.
yeah, it's like if someone likes it, fuck it, shut it.
Yeah, man, that's all.
But yeah, of those bands that we originally did splits with, the first was Agents of Satan.
Yeah.
And that's actually his brothers are in that band.
All right, okay.
And of course they are part of what was at that point like the West Bay Coalition, which included Plutocracy and No Less, Spaz, and Dead Bodies Everywhere. It was another split that we did. And actually turned out one of those guys was in Agents of Satan, and a couple of them went to school with Chiyo. So I mean, there's always these bonds.
There's a connection.
Like the 1 degree of separation sort of thing. That's great to have the community, and this is the whole point of it, is the community here is now getting to that point. Like a lot of local bands are getting signed, a lot of people are getting sucked into bigger bills. So how's the scene back home in Oakland? Do you think that's thriving now, or is it getting worse or better? What do you think?
People do that. They do that, and sometimes they shoot themselves in the foot by doing that. But
the fact is, the scene in Oakland, there's so many good bands. It's ridiculous almost.
And of all different genres, like not just fucking sludge and doom and grindcore, but there's a lot of different music coming out. Now I got a hipster element, which is kind of fucked, but you know, what are you gonna do? Gentrification happens everywhere.
You're selling records and touring. That's what you're doing. I'm happy for it, man.
Yeah.
Coming to the shithole armpit of Scotland, so more than happy to have you, man.
No comment.
It's beautiful here.
So over
Russ
the years,
loves it.
getting like collaborative works with other people that are getting into studios, how has that changed from the early days till now? Because you went on
Almost not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's still the same writing, same style.
Yeah.
So is there anyone particular that takes the lead and goes in a certain direction, and everyone follows, or is it everyone individually?
That's a weird. I have no way to answer that. We're so, because there's so much going on all the time. It's really hard to keep up what everyone's doing. We practice 3 days a week for about 2 to 3 hours of practice, and we have our cats, we have our kids, we have our other things that we do in our lives. So our lives are kind of chock full, and we go to shows and do our thing. But to keep tabs on what everyone's doing, we got things going on in our lives, and we want to do what we want to do, and what everyone else is doing, cool, you know. And we're at a point now where we're older, where before it actually meant something. Like you'd be like, oh, that person signed to fucking this label, well, fuck those guys, that's fucked up. It's just DIY. Yeah, okay, young and ignorant, right? As you get older, we're just like, you know, I don't give a fuck what anyone does. I really don't give a shit. And I don't think anyone at this table does. We just want to do what we want to do. And do our art. And we share it, and we still go to shows. We still support younger bands. So yeah, it's a weird question because the scene's changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. I mean, me and Chiyo used to live at like a punk squat house where, like, a van would just pull in our driveway. We're on tour. We just fucking hang out, party all night, go to the show. Now we live a different life.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different now. But the more it is different, the more it is the same. You know, you watch the younger generation doing all that shit. People organizing shows where we live. Or this guy Scooch just does so much. Just does so much, a little distracting. It just does so much for the community, for underground music. There's a lot of really good people where we live.
So you touched on it briefly, like going and seeing bands. That's one thing that I'm all about. Like I like getting the LPs and the live albums, but seeing them live is where it's at.
What's good is going to a show where you don't even know the fucking band.
That's
and
it.
You just walk in and you get impressed.
So is there any up and comers that blow you guys away?
On this tour, we saw one that was completely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some really good bands that have opened, even just European bands on this tour.
Yeah.
Where
I mean,
sometimes we're like, fuck, we have to go on after that?
Yeah.
We got it up and
Yeah, it's really crazy.
What were we listening to today?
So in Paris, we played with this band called Chaos E.T. Sexual.
Okay.
And it's Doom, but with a hip-hop vibe to it.
Yeah,
It was something I never even thought of doing. And I'm like...
It was so out, like, at first you're just like, what the hell? And then...
But
I remember I was headbanging, I turned around, and there's fucking Gary. Gary gets into bands, but never, like, up front, just... And I was like, dude, that's fucking rad. So, you know, we get blessed in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, so at home it's the same way, you know?
So talking a little bit more about like the artwork of the band, your shirts, things like that. Do you guys put your artwork into it, or is it your concepts and then get turned out into eventualities?
It's just garbage that we go, maybe this will look good.
Actually, we find things that are aesthetically pleasing to us or funny to us.
Yeah.
Because that's it. It's still got that B-movie quality to it,
There's
which I
times
really
when
like.
we try and make it too goofy and we have to scrap it.
There was a cover album that was done, and Gary brought in all the pictures, and he just superimposed this little kid's face on every famous picture through history. And I swear to God, I peed myself a little bit in my pants. We were laughing so fucking hard, and then it came out, and we were like, that's really goofy. But the thing is like, we don't take ourselves too fucking serious.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
bottom line.
everything needs to have a bit of a laugh about it, or else it does get too serious.
We're serious enough, you know, in many other ways, musically and lyrically.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. The lyrics are definitely something we don't. There are some things we take serious. Yeah, we take something, but we got to take the piss out of ourselves too.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask as well with some of the samples, are you taking them from different sources, or are you like clean singing them in sort of thing, like talking, and then you cut that in later? Or?
No, they're all.
No, the samples are all things that some of them are just found recordings.
And it fit perfect.
Yeah, but we recorded 20 years ago, 1997. And Chiyo and I went to a a flea market after that, and I just found this cassette. And I could tell what was written on the cassette was this recording that I'd heard like 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
It was this weird random phone call recording. And so I listened to that and I'm like, that was cool. And on the other side was this Mr. Rogers thing. And I was like, whoa, that's perfect. And so we put it on the recording we had just done that night.
Yeah.
We just slapped it on there. Just like, that was too perfect. And now everybody loves hearing that.
Yeah, man, it's like, it gives it that extra grimy quality to
Yeah.
it. It just sets the tone of the song up perfectly.
Yeah, plus
But
the
say,
guy
you
is
know,
so
like,
creepy.
The sample stuff on Useless, Gary found a recording of a religious fanatic in the
Pat
States.
Robertson.
Yeah.
And did a beautiful manipulation of that, cutting it up. So that was a good job on that one.
So, from here, like, where's the tour going to be taking you? Like, what's new in the pipeline, or is there going to be something new coming out?
We've been working on a record, but every time we get a little bit ahead,
Yeah, this tour is actually keeping us from
really?
continuing
Yeah,
on our
so
record.
we
We had to
actually-
stop and start rehearsing all the old stuff, and when we get back, we have one show like a week after the tour at home,
and then we're
going to just
done.
focus
And we're
on the
gonna
album.
do the album.
Because all the songs are written, we just need to rehearse them.
And I've never done. I've only been in the band for 5 years.
Only.
Only, yeah.
Yeah,
man.
dude,
Ah.
trust me, when you get older, 5 years.
5 years is
that
nothing.
long. It's horrible. Unless you're in jail, it's fucking really long. If you're in prison, 5 years is a long time.
Yeah, but we hope to get into the studio the early part of next year.
Do you have
We'll
a
get this
studio
done.
sorted out where you want to go, people you want to work with?
We are still working on that.
Yeah.
We have people we work with. We have studios in mind. We haven't really. We need to get everything ironed out before we can go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we decided not to concern ourselves with labels or anything, to just try and focus on writing and worry about all the details later.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if things are in the back of your mind, it might affect
The
what
writing
you're
of the
doing.
music. Yeah.
So we just wanted to
No
be clear.
distractions.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is no adhering to what someone else wants us to sound like. Like, oh, this label only does this. It's like, we should be more like that.
Yeah,
Fuck that
pushing
shit.
you in the
Yeah,
direction.
we do our thing.
And for the first time, we're not working under a time schedule
yeah.
to get it to a label by a certain date.
Which is also biting us in the ass at the same time.
Yeah, because we started talking about this when we got back from Japan in 2013.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
4 years later.
Yeah, we may or may not be fucking up.
But also to be said, we've written like a couple of hours worth of music, and more than half of it's been, scrapped at this point. So we worked a lot on stuff that we're not even working with anymore now.
We're trying to figure out what exactly we want to sound like right now. And at the same time, keeping the ideas and the song structure of what has been done in the past. Because that's important too, is the integrity of the band, number one.
Well, it's your baby. That's the thing that's putting your soul out there, so you gotta like what you're doing or you shouldn't.
I wouldn't say it's our baby, but it's definitely our therapy.
Okay.
And the thing is like sometimes we'll get together and we won't even practice. We'll just talk about how fucking shitty our lives are, fucking whatever. But we're there for each other. And there's bickering and like brothers and sisters, but we love each other. We want to fucking make something that's gonna be all of us and not just like the dynamic is all of us.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. Because honestly, I like I said, I'm only in the band for 5 years, so I've been doing karaoke on all the old songs. I love the songs, and I grew up listening to them because I was in a band from Orange County. They were in Oakland, and we were like-minded. We always played shows together. So when it's kind of like with the guitar, when he stepped in to play guitar and the band kept going, I did the same thing with vocals. He blew his vocal cords out. Doctor said, hey, you might have an issue later in life if you keep doing this. And he was like, I don't want to jeopardize that. And I'm like, I will.
Yeah, okay.
So there you go. It's like,
I'll take the bullet.
yeah,
Go for it.
I don't like me. So, so that's how this band's been kind of moving along. It's kind of just doing its own thing.
Yeah,
It's amorphous-like. You know what I mean?
So, I see as well that you've got a lot of live performances and bits and bobs that you put up on YouTube as well as the actual live EPs that you've got out there as well. Is there any places, old or new, which will stick with you of like venues, which are great, festivals that were great, things like that?
Fiesta Grande at Gilman Street.
That was fucking
That's,
amazing.
you know, actually we owe our like the first 7 inch was put out by Ahem, by Chris Dodge, and he got us on 3 Fiesta Grandes. This big festival in Berkeley at Gilman Street with bands like Dystopia, Menace the Bastard, Spaz, and Infest, and you know, if it wasn't for Chris, a lot of the splits that came after the first one were all kind of because of Chris. You know, like Deep Six Records and all these other labels heard of us because of Chris. Because before Chris, like, we just had a couple tapes and nobody had ever heard of us. So we owe a lot, you know, to Chris Dodge for Slapperham.
So it is that little community again that we were talking about. Everyone's got everyone's back, sort of thing.
Yeah, and Fiesta Grande was just that, you know, the
That was
whole
a turning
like,
point, yeah.
West Coast power violence, and we weren't power violence, but somehow we were lucky enough to be included and asked every year to play it. So, you know,
everyone needs a bit of change, though, man. It can't be just the same shit all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I like the Pessimizer guys as well. When they did the Cry Now Cry Later comps, it was like it wasn't just all one style of music. It was a whole bunch of different styles of music, but it was all considered this under the umbrella of the whole power violence scene. So it's kind of weird.
Well, I think Noothgrush was very lucky early on to get shows with Dystopia and Menace the Bastard and bands that people in our area at least were really, really into and coming out to see. These guys would play at Gilman Street, man, and there would be no people. It looked like there was people somehow on the walls, you know.
There was one time,
and
like
people, these guys would play. Everybody would be singing the songs. I mean, it was really,
there was
really
times where
interesting. Really
the police showed up outside, and everyone was so mad that the show was being closed down. They wanted to go out and fuck the police up. So instead of that, Gilman locked the doors and asked us to keep playing. So
nobody leave.
Yeah, don't leave. Yeah, just stay inside. Wait it out. That is funny.
Yeah, we were very lucky to have our first thing on Slapperham. We played a number of shows very early on with some really amazing bands that turned into really good friends. And,
lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And now I'm only in the band because of all that history.
But that's something that'll bond you guys for life, man. You know where each other came from. That's a great thing to have.
Yeah,
And you managed to deal with it in small vans and like airplanes for that
The
long.
thing is we all know where each other stand. So we can joke with each other, we can say things to each other that are uncomfortable and fucked up, but we know each other and we're just like, we're just fucking around. So it's kind of nice. It's like family.
I just want to say that, you know, when we started this band, not many people really liked what we were doing. We would play with some of these great bands, and oftentimes the place would pretty much empty when we played.
Seriously.
And, you know, but we just kept doing what we do because we like doing it. But I can say that how humbled we are and honored to be doing the things we're doing now, because we never ever thought in our minds, we're gonna, you know, do this and that. You know, it was
and there's no paying
no
dues.
big,
it was
like,
just like they just kept doing it.
We're gonna play in Russia.
Yeah, it wasn't like if we keep doing this, we're gonna get this.
I mean, I never even thought we'd ever make it to Europe or anything. Or that anybody would want us to come to Europe. So, you know.
You never know, man.
Maybe we'll go there one day.
Chiyo had a son. We had to stop playing. There was no acrimony. There was no breakup. She had a son. We had to stop playing. And it was 10 years before the right circumstances came
That
for
was
us
around
to...
the 2000 mark, wasn't it?
2001.
2001,
Yeah. And it was 10 years, almost exactly to the month that we stopped playing, that the right circumstances came for us to agree to play together again.
And
that was doing 2 shows with Winter.
And then after those 2 shows, that's when Gary fucked his voice up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember was on stage headbanging to you guys in the corner. And
You were right next to me.
And I'm smoking weed, just blowing smoke. Like I was their smoke machine basically the whole show.
Get dry, fuck that. Get the weed
yeah. So I'm fucking stoned out of my gourd. And Gary blew his voice out, and then like I heard like a week later, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna be able to do this anymore. And I'm like, dude, I'll fucking do that shit in a heartbeat. Here's the funny part. So I get in there, he's like, hey, I'm like, what should I do? He's like, just do what you do in Dystopia. That's what you did. So I did. After a while, I was like, I listened to recordings. I'm like, So I called Russ. I'm like, hey, Russ, I don't know how I feel about the recording. And Russ goes, well, what do you really think? I'm like, honestly, I fucking hate it. And he's like, oh, thank God, I hate it too. It's fucking horrible, man. Your voice sounds fucking like shit. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to come in one more time. But I'm just going to mimic Gary.
Okay.
And I did it, and Russ, I put his guitar down, and hugged me. From that point on, I've been in the band.
I think that name of yours might be a bit strong, Mr. A with all the love.
Oh no, you have no idea.
Mr. Love.
You should see how he gets out of the van.
Well, I think that's a perfect point to wrap up. Thanks again, guys.
Cheers.
It's been
Wait,
absolute
I
fun.
like to back up. We are not geniuses. All right, that's a perfect.
With
There you go.
savants, maybe.
From the horse's
Maybe
mouth, guys.
savants.
Right, thanks again.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
And thanks for the beer.